Hey friends, happy Sunday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor. I'm a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I share these weekly What's for Dinner videos to hopefully give you some new ideas of some meals to try and also to motivate you to cook more for your family. So if you like these kinds of videos, I hope that you will subscribe down below. As I said, I share them weekly because it helps motivate myself to try new recipes and to cook and eat at home. And as always, any recipes that I mention will be linked in the description box. Now let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Friday night, the kids were with Andy's grandmother, but he actually had to work late, so I just picked up some frozen pizza for me and him to have. I got these hot honey pizzas at Aldi, and we couldn't decide which one to try, so I just made both, and we tried both, and then we also had plenty of leftovers for lunch the next day. Both of these were really good. Really liked the pepperoni one, the barbecue chicken one. It was like a sweet barbecue sauce, but it was still really good. And I actually put some extra Mike's Hot Honey on both of the pizzas because I wanted a little bit more heat to it. These are one of those special finds from Aldi, so you might not be able to find it anymore, but I actually have already repurchased it because we like them that much. Saturday night, I made a chicken pesto pasta. I wasn't following a recipe for this. I just kind of threw some stuff together. So I'm starting off by seasoning up my chicken. I've cut my chicken into like bite-sized pieces, and I'm going to toss it in some olive oil, some salt, pepper, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, lemon pepper, onion salt, which Elijah actually did, and he added quite a bit, but it was still okay, and then some paprika. Then in a large skillet, I heated a little bit of olive oil up to cook my chicken in, and then I just put it in there in like a nice like even layer so nothing was on top of each other, and then I just leave this alone for a couple of minutes, let that chicken get a nice good sear on the bottom. While my chicken was cooking, I brought a pot of salted water to a boil to cook up 1 pound of pasta. I am using this vegetable ratatouille. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Let me know in the comments down below if I am. But I'm using that. It's from Trader Joe's. It's just a fun shaped pasta, and it adds a little bit of veggie to the dish. And my kids absolutely love this pasta. So once my chicken was cooked through, I removed it from the pan, and then to the pan I added in some minced garlic and a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes. I didn't have very many sun-dried tomatoes, but I wanted to use up the few that I had. So you can add more if you want to. I just added what I had on hand. I let that cook for about 30 seconds, and then I added in 1 cup of chicken broth and kind of deglazed the pan. And then I also added in some pesto. I buy the big jar at Sam's Club, but I added in what I think is equal to like one of those small jars of pesto. I don't remember how big those are. I think they're like either like 11 ounces or 16 ounces. I just added some in. So do whatever you like. And then a couple tablespoons of some heavy cream. And then I brought that to a boil. When it came to a boil, I reduced the heat to a medium-low, and then I let this simmer for about 5 minutes till it started to thicken up. After about 5 minutes, it had thickened up nicely, so then I added in some Parmesan cheese and let that melt. Then once that was all incorporated, I added in my pasta, and then I added in my chicken and just stirred everything really well to combine. to go with this, we just had some garlic bread. Sometimes I do salad, but we just did garlic bread this night and topped it with a little bit of extra Parmesan cheese. Sunday night we did some bacon cheeseburgers. These were just some already like pattied out burgers from Aldi, so I didn't even show me making them. I just seasoned them with some salt and pepper. We made some deviled eggs because Elijah had been begging me to make deviled eggs, so he actually helped me make those. And then Lily had a hard-boiled egg because she doesn't like deviled eggs. And then we just had some chips to go with our burgers as well. Monday night, I made a Crock-Pot chicken thighs with potatoes and green beans. We actually have 2 Crock-Pot meals this week because we went to martial arts twice to make up for, like, 1 week they were sick a couple weeks back, and then another week when we were supposed to go on Thursday, I got a flat tire. I believe that was last week, if I remember correctly. So we had to do a makeup day this week. So we went to martial arts on Monday and Thursday this week. So 2 Crock-Pot meals coming at you this week. So in the bottom of my Crock-Pot, I've already got 3 large potatoes that I've cubed up. And then I'm adding in 2 cans of green beans, one of which I drained, one of which I didn't. If you plan on draining both of yours, just add more broth. Because then I add in 1 cup of chicken broth and then some onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, Italian seasoning, chili flakes, salt and pepper, and the juice of half a lemon. And then I stirred that all really well to get the seasoning all over everything. Then I've got some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm going to season those with the same seasonings I used on the potatoes and green beans. That's some onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, Italian seasoning, chili flakes, and salt and pepper. And then I placed those on top of the potatoes and green beans and squeezed the other half of lemon over the chicken. And then I topped with half a stick of butter that I sliced, and then just a couple spoonfuls of minced garlic. And then I put the lid on this and let it cook on low for 6 to 8 hours. For me, we got home from martial arts after about 7 hours of cooking, and everything was done perfectly. So then I just went in and removed the chicken from the Crock-Pot. You could shred this up if you want to. I like kind of cut it up for the kids, kind of shredded it up a little bit for them. But for myself and Andy, I just put like the whole chicken thigh on our plate with our potatoes and green beans. You could serve this over rice if you wanted to, or just leave it as it is. I didn't want to make anything else since we were coming home like late from martial arts, so I just served this with a little bit of buttered bread on the side, and that was it. It was delicious. I actually just kind of like threw this together myself. I had made some like lemony garlic chicken thighs like a couple months ago. And when I made it, I was like, man, I should add like potatoes and green beans to this. That'd be delicious. So I just kind of did that today. Tuesday night, I made salmon patties, which is something I haven't made in years. Typically, I make tuna patties because they're really cheap and you can just use canned tuna. And you don't have to like pick bones and skin out of it. You can buy canned salmon that doesn't have the skin and bones in it, but it is much more expensive than a can of tuna. You can do that if you want. I have done that in the past. But this night, I'm actually using some salmon that I had in the freezer from Sam's Club. I cooked up 4 pieces in the air fryer. This is the first time I've ever made salmon patties with salmon that I cooked myself. But I just cooked that up. It takes like 12 minutes in the air fryer. And then I let it cool off for a few minutes. And then I just kind of like broke it up so that it was like the texture like you would get of salmon from a can or tuna from a can. And then to this, I add some Old Bay seasoning, 2 eggs, some Worcestershire sauce, and about 2 tablespoons of flour, and just mix that all together really well. I know everybody has their own recipe for salmon patties or salmon cakes or tuna patties or tuna cakes, but this is the way that I've always made them. This is the recipe that we were given from Andy's grandmother, so I just always stick to this. Not really interested in trying another recipe. I know there's probably some other good ones out there, but this one's just so simple, and I know that we love it. So once I had that all combined, I heated up a couple tablespoons of oil in my large cast iron skillet. And once that was hot, I started pattying out my salmon patties, and I got those in there. I got about 5 of them in my pan. I did have to do this in batches. I actually put the rest of this mixture in the fridge and saved it for later when my husband Andy got home, and then he had fresh salmon patties when he got home later. This made 8 salmon patties, so I used 4 fillets of salmon and got about 2 patties from each fillet, which is pretty good, I think. So I just let those cook for a couple minutes on each side, and here's how they turned out, nice and golden. And to go with them, we just had a salad for those of us that like salad, and then some Kraft macaroni and cheese. And of course, Lily just had some veggies. And on my salad, I actually tried these new croutons that I picked up at Trader Joe's. They are plantain croutons. They are garlic and sea salt flavored, and they are delicious. If you already like plantains, definitely give these a try. You can kind of like taste the plantain flavor, but they're very good. I love plantain chips and like savory plantain things. So if you like those things too, check these out. Wednesday night, we had steak burrito bowls. So I am starting off by making some perfect white rice. I've shared this before. It has its own separate video. If you ever need it, just search my name and then rice, and it's probably like the first video that pops up. Instant pot rice 2 ways. So I just get some rinsed rice in my Instant Pot. I'm doing 1.5 cups. You can do more if you want to. You just want to do equal parts rice and water. I am using jasmine rice. You can also use long grain rice, and it's the same cook time, same measurements and everything. Then I just do a little splash of olive oil and a little splash of vinegar. Stir that around, put the lid on it, let it pressure cook for 5 minutes on high pressure, and then let it do a natural release for about 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes, you're going to want to remove the lid, and then you can go in there and fluff your rice. As you'll be able to see, once all the steam clears, it's nice and fluffy. It's not super sticky. It's not stuck to the bottom. I've done this even without the non-stick insert. I have a non-stick and a regular one that came with it. Highly recommend the non-stick one, but you still get perfect rice even with the regular stainless steel insert. So once I got that all fluffed up, then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 3 tablespoons of chopped up fresh cilantro, and then some salt and pepper to taste. Mix that all around really good, and you've got yourself some cilantro lime rice. For my steak, I am using this steak from Aldi. It's already marinated carne asada, and this is the first time I'm trying it. I got it for 50% off, and it was amazing. Like, definitely recommend picking this up. I will buy it again. I could tell when I opened it, it just smelled so good, and then when I was cooking, it smelled so good, and then it tasted really good. It came out really tender and delicious. So I'm just taking it and I'm slicing it up, and then I'm going to get it in my cast iron pan that I've heated up with a little bit of oil and just cook it. Again, like I did the chicken previously, I try to put it in one single layer and then just let it kind of cook and get seared on the one side before flipping it over. Here's everything we've got for our burrito bowls. We've got some black beans that I seasoned with some taco seasoning. Of course, our cilantro lime rice. We've got some Monterey Jack cheese, some lettuce, some sour cream, diced tomato, some lime, some Taco Bell mild sauce, some salsa, and of course our steak. So here is my assembled bowl. I also have this jalapeno lime onion like crunch stuff from Trader Joe's. This is new. It's like they have that crunchy chili garlic one, and it's really good. And this jalapeno lime one added so much flavor to my bowl. It was delicious. Definitely recommend picking it up if you already like the other one especially. And here are the kids' bowls. They like theirs kind of plain, not too much stuff on theirs. And finally, the last meal of the week, another Crock-Pot meal. This is Meatball Subs. So I just took these beef meatballs. Our favorite frozen ones are the ones from Sam's Club. I've tried so many different brands, and this is definitely our favorite. And they have like their Italian seasoning, so they go really well with the meatball subs. So I just put some of those on my air fryer basket because I like to air fry them first to give them a little bit of crispiness to them before throwing them in the crock pot. So I just do that about 15 minutes on 375, and then I'm going to toss them into the crock pot with a jar of marinara sauce. So I add the jar of marinara sauce, and then I also rinse that with a little bit of water to get out any remaining sauce. Stir everything together really well, and then this is one of those meals that doesn't really need to cook for very long. I put it on low, and it was in the crock pot for about 4 hours. So when we came home from martial arts, all I had to do was assemble our sandwiches. I took these like deli rolls from Aldi and then put a couple meatballs on each one and topped it with some mozzarella cheese, and then put these in the air fryer for 5 minutes on 350 just to get that cheese nice and melty. So then this is what that looks like, and to go with it, those of us that like salad had salad, but of course that's not Lily, so she just had some fresh veggies with it. And that is going to do it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that y'all got some new ideas of some things to try. If you plan on trying anything, let me know in the comments down below, and if you made it here to the end, make sure you leave me a heart emoji in the comments down below, or just let me know that you made it to the end if you can't leave emojis. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!